Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Catch Up Chaos. I know it's been a while and this is my first episode of 2021. So as always with Catch Up Chaos, basically the entire point is that I poach albums I like the look of from Crash Thompson's Vimmy videos. And I pick the ones I really like and give them a listen. And I pick the ones I like the look and sound of, so I give those a listen and grade them. And luckily, we got some really good shit in this one. We got about seven albums, so let's go. And we are starting wonderfully strong. Black Dresses with Forever in Your Heart. Now, this is their fourth album, but their first after they sort of broke up. They're a sort of hyper-pop duo from Canada, sort of a noise pop thing, and they started in 2017 but broke up in 2020 because one of the members is a trans woman, and she was being bullied for being a trans woman. And I would just like to remind people in 2021, don't fucking do that. Please, don't. And also remind people to listen to this album. A+. Oh my god, this is beautifully produced, beautifully performed. Really, it's so irreverent in its delivery as well. It could not give less of a fuck about where it's going, and it's all tied together wonderfully. Great lyrical content as well. Really good usage of beats mixed with the instrumental riffs. Really fucking enjoy this one, so yeah, listen to this. Listen to a lot of these, because I've got nothing but good to say for a lot of these. And as soon as I say that, I look at the next album, which is the lowest grade I'm giving this video, Epica with Omega. And now, these are a Dutch symphonic metal act, and they're female-led, and I've sort of become desensitized to this style because I listened to quite a lot of it last year when I was doing Backtracking Season 5. So, I'm sort of used to it. However, I enjoyed bits of this. I'm giving it a B-. I thought the instrumental work was strong and the band performance. I thought everything about this album was actually really good. The problem is not with the album, the problem is not with the band, the problem is very much with me. I've just heard so much of it by this point, and it rarely ever sounds too different. I will give this one props for being a bit more aggressive than I'm used to from symphonic metal from the Netherlands, but I think if it leaned more into the heavy stuff, I think I would be talking a bit more fondly about it. But a B- is not a terrible grade, and this is not a terrible album. I still think it's worth a listen or two. It can drag a little bit, but it's not bad. So, give it a shot if you want. Next up, we have a band who you would think I would get to sooner. Five Iron Frenzy with Until This Shakes Apart. Five Iron Frenzy are a band that have been around for a long time. This is their 7th album, their first in about 8 years, and I'm giving it an A grade. So these are a Christian ska punk act, and I'm saying that for the people who don't know a lot about Five Iron Frenzy. And I wouldn't know how you don't, because they did start in 1995, technically speaking, although they did split up then reform in 2011, so maybe that's part of the reason why. But still, despite being a Christian act, they're very much against, the typical bullshit that the Christian faith represents, and that's why I'm giving this album an A. I really like this one. Strong musicianship, everything I love about ska punk, gave me, some really good Less Than Jake, Kill Lincoln, Streetlight Manifesto vibes, and despite being a Christian-leaning band, they did a swear. I swear they said the F word at least once, so fuck it. Anyway, you should definitely listen to this one too. Really strong stuff from these guys, and I really should get around to their earlier work as well, because these are they're sort of a shining light in Christian punk from my knowledge, so it baffles me that I haven't really gotten around to them sooner. I will look to rectify that, and you should definitely listen to this. Really strong in a lot of its aspects. Speaking of strong albums, we go from a band that's been around for a long time to a new artist, Genesis Owusu, with his debut album, Smiling With No Teeth. Now, Genesis Owusu is from Australia, bonus, 6 years younger than me, makes me a bit depressed, and this album is a beautiful amalgamation of, really good hip-hop, the old-school feel, sort of Run the Jewels style, but with, some indie rock sort of trappings in it, and oh my god, it's gorgeous. It is so smooth. I'm giving this... this also gets an A+. I really, really enjoyed this one. It is the thing, I've sort of become more used to this style of hip-hop, so I was just thinking, maybe it'll be good. Then it turned out to be great, so Genesis Owusu, I really hope he's able to keep this sort of momentum going into if he does another album, and I really hope he does, because he's young, he's got this much talent. Really good songwriting, really poignant lyrics, really good storytelling, really good usage of hip-hop beats again, much like with Black Dresses, as I talked about earlier. Just great stuff, and you should definitely like find time to listen to this album because it's really fucking good. And we go from that to a sort of new-ish act, Humanity's Last Breath with Valde. Now, I will say Humanity's Last Breath is a great fucking band name, especially considering they're a black metal deathcore mixed band. And I don't really know if I'm saying Valde right because they're from Sweden, so I could be saying it completely wrong. But yeah, I really enjoyed this album, giving it a B+, because in terms of extreme metal albums, it's really, really good, but in terms of the ones I've heard this year, I don't know, I'm still holding The Drowned God as like the standard bearer for that so far in 2021. However, I really did enjoy this album. Sorry about scratching behind my ear, that was quite itchy. Yeah, really strong stuff, really brutal. I think my main problem with it is that it doesn't step off the brakes nearly enough for me, like it can go too hard too quick, which is not something I usually complain about, but, sorry. Anyway, now that my laughing fit is over a little bit, yeah, no, this is still a really strong deathcore black metal leaning album. Really good instrumental work, brutal as all hell. Solid lyrics. I really like the cover. I really like the band name, and I don't know which album this slots into in their discography, but assuming that it is early in their career, then they've got a lot going for them. So really happy about that. Next up, we hop from Sweden to Korea with Slant and their debut album One. Because, you know, that's what I needed, like the Billy Talent effect. Thank you, Slant. So, yeah, Korea is mostly known for, like, its popular boy bands and really questionable politicians. But this, like, this is hardcore, the most hardcore of hardcore punk. Female-fronted and fucking amazing. I really, really like this one. Really strong lyrics. For an album, it's only 17 minutes long, by the way, but it has a really long-lasting impact long after it's done. And, like, it's something I could listen to, like, 3 times in a row and just not get bored of it. Just as ridiculously fun, really scratchy and catchy, you know, straight to the point, punches you relentlessly, really, really quick, you know? But it's a good kind of quick. It's really slickly done. Really well produced, too, for a debut. Like, really raw feeling and organic, and just performed so passionately and wonderfully. So, yeah, Slant are a band I'm going to keep my eyes on. No pun intended. I really hope the Slant itself, by the way, was an intentional sort of self-joke. If you don't get it, like, look it up what it might mean. I'm not going to explain it because I don't want to get in trouble. And finally, we head back to Sweden for Tribulation with their new album, Where the Gloom Becomes Sound. Now, this is their last album with longtime guitarist Jonathan Halton, and this is a very sort of doomy, occult-ish metal sort of thing. I don't really go to my occult stuff a lot. Like, I go to a lot of doom, a lot of gothic, and a lot of heavy metal. Not so much my occult. Really like this, though. You know, it gets a B+. I think I'm trying to think of my main issue with it. I think it's mostly the fact that the style is not for everybody. And, like, it's sort of barely caters to me, but I really like the musicianship on display. Really good performances, too. Just, yeah, structuring is pretty good. The production's really good, too. I can't think of a lot that makes it great, but the guitar work is fucking phenomenal. So, yeah, just a really fun, creepy, spoopy album. And, again, like, I will recommend this one, but it's also the one I'd recommend probably the least because it is a style that can and has put people off, so yeah, it is that classic, like, corpse paint and leather wristbands down to the fucking elbow style metal, so give it a try if you're up for that. Specifically if you're up for that. And that's it, that is all 7 albums. I could easily recommend just about any of them, but the 2 I would recommend seeking out the most. Okay, the 4. Black Dresses, Five Iron Frenzy, Genesis Owusu, and Slants, but you can check out the rest if you want because they're all really, really solid work. And don't have a lot else to say. I've got to get to work on the Metallica backtracking episode at some point now that the Fugazi one is done. Next thing I can promise you is that tomorrow I will be trying to get a stream done, just a regular Friday night boring bollocks stream of me gaming and being made to look like an idiot. So, well, I don't need the game's help for that. So, yeah, I'll see you all for that. And as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.